but lightly, and I haven't done enough cardio, and I have to do this and that. What are you talking about? You just told me I'm fat. I was talking to Rudy. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Emotional intelligence, or EI, is the capacity or the ability to perceive, to manage, and to assess your own emotions and those of others. EQ, or emotional quotient, is how you measure EI. Now, there's been over 3,000 studies that have said emotional intelligence is excellent for personal satisfaction and professional satisfaction. Boosting your EQ does wonders for creative leadership, entrepreneurship, and career success. And also for happiness and relationship satisfaction. Emotional intelligence is fantastic because it is a human interaction. I'll share with you that emotional intelligence has two components. First is personal competence. Second is relational competence. And within that, there's two areas. One is knowledge, and the other is management. Let's start with quadrant number 1. This is about self-awareness. It's about taking that mirror, looking at yourself, and saying, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my values? The second part of this is once you understand those, and oh, by the way, you could take Myers-Briggs, DISC, Colby, several assessments to help you assess yourself. The second topic on this item is making sure that we're self-confident. Once we understand ourselves, are we confident about our strengths, our capabilities, our abilities? And lastly, how do others see you? And does that align with how you see yourselves? That is self-awareness. Let's take a look at the second quadrant. This is about self-regulation. It's about self-control. This is using your own self-remote. When do you press the mute button so that you don't say something you shouldn't? When do you use the button to motivate yourself? Do your values match your words and your actions? That is self-regulation, self-control. Now, we have to master personal competence before we move on to relational competence. But let's look at quadrant number 3. This is about awareness of others. This is about taking a look at your strengths and weaknesses, taking a look at what motivates you, anticipating the needs of that person, understanding the diversity, the cultural background of that person. That is awareness of others. And by the way, there is several competencies under each one of these. Number 3 and number 2. They're a little bit small for you, tutor. Sorry about that. But we'll look at those as well. We're not reviewing all of those. Let's move on to number 4, quadrant number 4. Bring it to your attention that this is where it all comes together. This is about building relationships. This is where you take what you understand of your own emotions and how you understand the emotions of others and maximizing that relationship. Now, I became passionate about this topic when I started working for a gentleman named Stephen. He had the highest EQ that I've ever seen. The first time I saw him using emotional intelligence was in a meeting where there was senior leaders at Xerox that had not come together and had a conclusion yet. I saw him manage the team. I saw him listening. I saw him encouraging healthy debate between all those leaders. After 2 hours, he had them exactly where they needed to be. They came to a conclusion. They were shaking hands. They were smiling. It was something amazing to see. I took advantage of the next 3 years that I was with him. I learned, he was my role model, and it was a pleasure and a value for me to see him those 3 years. Compared to decades and decades of me not having that role model, people who had low EQ, people like my sister. My sister came to visit last weekend. She steps into the house. That backsplash doesn't match. Why did you put that on? What smells in here? Is that Rudy? Now that table's nice. That's surprising. Her self-promote doesn't work. And she's not aware of my emotions. And she doesn't understand how to maximize our relationship. The good news is I've been practicing EI for many, many years. I'm not perfect, but I've been practicing. So I can control my emotions. I understand where she's coming from, and it does not affect our relationship. I love her. She's my sister. Again, emotional intelligence is about making sure you understand everyone's emotions and your own, and how you manage those together. It is at the heart of every single aspect of our lives. It's about customers, it's about the product, it's about the team. It's about families, it's about decisions. All of that is controlled by emotional intelligence or the lack thereof. Now I know every single one of you in here have a high IQ and a high EQ. My challenge and my call to action to you today is think about one person in your life that does not have a high EQ. Think about that one person and help boost their EQ. Thank you.